Hi, welcome to my class, and then this is Translation Theories course. And today we're going to explore together about the translation technique. This theory is proposed by Molina and Albir, and then to hope that you have read the slides I've distributed. Okay, today we're going to explore it in details. But before that, if I have this question, what is your answer actually? So, in translating the text, do you think it is important, it is helpful to use some theories? Or no, it is not important, or you just go directly and then you find your dictionary and then start to translate it? Okay, actually it is very important to know at least some theories in translations, because it will be helpful for you to improve or to make your translation well. Okay, before go there, let me introduce some background aspects first. And then, the categories used to analyze how translation works, there are some aspects. The first one is textual. It describes mechanism of coherence, cohesions, and thematic progressions. And then the next one is contextual, because we don't only put our focus on the text, but we only need the contextual that forms the meaning of that text. Okay, contextual describes all the extra textual elements related to the context of source text and translation productions. And then the next one is process. For example, which option has the translator chosen to carry out the translation projects? Maybe your considerations before you translate the text, and then which method has been chosen. How has the translator solved the problems to have emerged during the translation process? For example, which strategies has been chosen? Okay, class, you have to remember as well that in a text there is consists of two parts. The first one is micro units. It is the whole text, and then the second one is micro unit. Micro unit means that the words, the phrases, the clause, or the sentences. Well, back to our focus today. It is the translation techniques. So when you translate the text and then you found the problems or the problems occurs, and you use your strategy. It is in your head, your mind. Maybe you are thinking how to solve this problem. That's the strategy. We can see only you that can think about the strategy, and then after that. After solving that problem, it transfers into the technique. The translation technique is the thing that we can see. So this is based on the products of your translations. We can analyze the translation technique based on the product of your translation. And then now we come to the first translation technique. It is borrowings. Like the name borrowing, it means that taking the word or taking the expression from the source language, and then we bring it to the target language. For example, and you have to remember as well that it is divided into two. The first one is pure borrowing. If you take it completely, for example, flash disk, and then you translate it into flash disk as well. Meanwhile, the naturalized borrowing, for example, it is computer, and then you translate into bahasa to be computer. And then the next technique is literal translations. It is to translate word for word. For example, I have this clause. He missed that boat. And then I translate it into dia ketinggalan perahu itu. Not dia ketinggalan itu perahu. Now, this is word for word translation, but the grammar is just. Well, the next technique is calc. It is just the same, almost the same with the literal translations. Meanwhile, the differences are in literal translations, the structure or the grammar is adjusted. Meanwhile, in calcs, now it is completely the same. The arrangement of the sentence is completely the same. For example, I have the source text, president directors, and then I translate it into bahasa. It means presiden direktur. The arrangement of the sentence is just the same. Do you get the point? The differences between the literal, the first one, the literal, and then the next one, the cult. Okay, the next one is adaptations. This is the next technique, adaptation. Sometimes the cultural background is affecting this one, for example, and then we will use this technique in solving the problems in related to the cultural problems. For example, this is the substitution of unfamiliar cultural terms in the source text into more familiar. For example, in bahasa we have timlo, nasi timlo, and then sometimes we have to think, what is in English? So you have to say that, make it a kind of adaptations. So timlo, you translate it into spring roll or fried spring roll or what else? And then the next one is amplification. It means that you add some more detailed explanation to make it easier to understand. For example, in Indonesia we have Ramadan. It is easy to understand, but if you have to translate into English, that you have to make it in detail, you add some explanation. So it is possible for you to add the information, the month of fasting. It's a little bit general, and then I'm sure it is easier to understand. Well, I think that are some examples of translation technique proposed by Molina and Albir. Actually, Molina and Albir propose 18 techniques of translation, but I've explained some of them. Then now I'm looking for your participation in our class. So we'll continue our discussion in the classrooms. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.